Is Aaron Rodgers still a top 3 quarterback in the NFL?
Well, first of all, there's various ways to be enthusiastic. You can be enthusiastic and suave and cool all at the same time. And that is what I saw from my man Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, that's what that was?
Man.
Oh, okay.
But that was smooth and suave. That's all it was. Okay. That's all it was.
Oh,
but in the end, here's what it comes down to. Here's what it comes down to. Despite the fact that he's a bad man, I'm going to be objective here and say the answer to that question, Molly, is no, for 3 simple reasons. Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Drew Brees. Drew Brees played about 5 less games, still threw more touchdown passes, and completed 74% of his passes. We know what Russell Wilson has had to do, and the multidimensional quarterback that he is. Never had a losing season in his entire NFL quarterbacking career. And Patrick Mahomes is just that dude, validated by his new contract. So by virtue of that reality alone, I wouldn't say that Aaron Rodgers is top 3. I think he can be again. I don't think there's any question about it. I don't think he has a couple of years left in him. I think he has several years left in him. If the Green Bay Packers would just wake the hell up, recognize the greatness that they have at their disposal, and go about the business of buffering him and augmenting the talent on that roster, maybe, just maybe, you would see more greatness from Aaron Rodgers. And oh, by the way, y'all, had a bad year last year. 4,000 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions, complete 62% of his passes. To show the greatness of Aaron Rodgers, that qualifies as a bad year. To his standards, he's a bad man, make no mistake about it. It's just that based off of last season alone, last couple of seasons, I think what we've seen from Mahomes, Drew Brees, and Russell Wilson, you can't put him in top 3 over those guys. Mahomes is a special case because he's just an electrifying talent. But Drew Brees and Russell Wilson have resumes comparable to Aaron Rodgers, that when they look the way that they have looked over the last couple of years, at least for the moment, you have to give them the edge, knowing that Aaron Rodgers could usurp them with a great season because he's that special.
I don't know if I can prove it or not, but I would take Aaron Rodgers second overall. There's Patrick Mahomes and there's everyone else. But the first guy among everyone else I'd take is Aaron Rodgers. And I thought you were going to go with Lamar Jackson, Stephen A., because he didn't play poorly in the playoff loss, but he still has yet to win a playoff game. If I'm trying to win a Super Bowl to start a season and I'm starting with no team, I could just pick my quarterback. It's Mahomes 1, it's Rodgers 2. And Mahomes basically reminds me of Rodgers in Rodgers' prime, maybe even a little better. But Rodgers was unbelievably great. And even if he's declining, he's still better, I think, than everyone else. If you gave him Drew Brees' coach and weapons and put him in a dome, I'm quite sure his numbers would be off the charts. As it was, he led the league in interception percentage, the lowest one. As you mentioned, 26 touchdowns against only 4 interceptions. And by the way, not only won 13 regular season games, beat Seattle in the playoffs, and then eventually lost to a great Niners team. I don't think he's enthusiastic. I think he's angry. I think he has a right to be. First year with a head coach, they say, hey, rely on everyone else more. And so he does, and he does it effectively, and they win a lot. And then they win a playoff game, and now he's criticized for being in decline. Then the next thing that happens is they draft his replacement instead of getting him help at a skills position, as usual, by the way. And I don't want to overstate, oh, the Packers have surrounded him with bad teams. No, they haven't. But without Aaron Rodgers, they're kind of middle-of-the-pack teams. You add Aaron Rodgers to those teams, that's why they're on the outskirts of the Super Bowl favorites every year, because everyone knows, oh, my God, they got Aaron Rodgers. I would take Mahomes first and Rodgers second. Now, you can make a really good case you should take Russell Wilson second. In fact, I think you could probably marshal better evidence to support your claim. But I'm just talking about me. If it's me, I'm taking after Mahomes, Rodgers before anyone else. I think his talents are pitched higher. I think he's doing his best to fit into a new system that makes him look not quite as good, and yet he's doing it really well. I think he's going to get even better at it. I think he's top 3. In fact, I think he's top 2.
Well, I would say this. If you give me an opportunity to choose a quarterback to play a season, there's no way Aaron Rodgers doesn't show up in my top 3. And so, you know, Max, you alluded to maybe having Russell Wilson at 2, and that's my list. I would go Mahomes, Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. The reality is, you know, everyone keeps pointing out the 26 touchdowns and 4 picks a year ago. And yes, that offense is changing. It was also a brand new offense a year ago. And so when you look at what Brees is involved in, in New Orleans, it's a much different scenario. And by the way, if Aaron Rodgers were the quarterback down in New Orleans, I don't think we'd be seeing nearly as much Taysom Hill as we're seeing in that offense. I just don't believe we would. The consistency of Aaron Rodgers over the last 4, when you put it this way, not just looking at last season alone, because if we did that, then how do you leave out someone like Lamar Jackson? He's had 107 touchdowns and 19 picks over the last 4 seasons. That is a guy who is aggressive with the football and throws touchdown passes, but doesn't turn it over. Like, that's exactly what you're looking for. That's why we like Patrick Mahomes. It's one of the reasons we love Russell Wilson. That's exactly what Aaron Rodgers does. And to me, I think he's going to continue to play at a high level. He's top 3 for me. And then I would also say this, it's because his name has come up a few times, is Lamar Jackson. And what he did a year ago is spectacular. But I think we all kind of have to admit, when we look at style of play, when you look at the guys that have ended up in our top 3, and so it's Mahomes, Wilson, Rodgers, and Breeze, the style of play is obviously coming into play when we make our top 3 list when we look at these quarterbacks.
Well, listen, let me respond to that, Tim, by saying this to you. I can respect where you're coming from, but I do think that there comes a point in time with certain guys, resumes do matter. Like, for example, Lamar Jackson is improving. Number 1, win a playoff game. You got to do that. And number 2, show and prove that you can do it consistently throwing the football, because in the playoffs, that's what's going to be required of you. Is the reason why he's been so successful during the regular season, but come playoff time, obviously it's a bit problematic. First against the Chargers and then against the Titans. Secondly, we look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees has been in the NFL for 19 years, guys. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.